Coming up in this Blender Python tutorial, we'll be creating a Python script that will import rendered frames into Blender's video sequence editor and adjust the output settings, all done with Python. Hi, my name is Victor Stepanoff. I'll be guiding you through this tutorial. To follow along, you'll need a folder with some rendered frames. I'll be using this right here. I have a folder and I have some frames in that folder that we're going to be importing into the Blender video sequence editor. Let's start off with setting up our workspace, and we're going to go into File and then New, and then Video Editor. Now let's modify this to have text editor, right, where we're going to be writing our script, then the interactive Python console and the info panel. I'm just going to change this to the text editor, and I'm going to pull right here and set this to the interactive Python console, and then also set this to the info panel right here. I've prepared some helper code for us that you can find a link to in the description under Start Code. Open that link in any browser and then go to Raw, hit Ctrl-A, Ctrl-C to copy everything, head back into Blender, click New right here in the text editor, and hit Ctrl-V to paste in all the code that you just copied. This helper code that you just pasted in doesn't do anything except importing some modules and just calling some functions that don't do anything. Let's just run it and see. I'm just going to hit run, and as you can see, nothing changed in the video sequencer. So before we continue, let's make sure to save this file that we just copied. Tutorial. I'm just going to call it pick import.py, and also let's make sure to save the project itself. All right. In the main function right here, you'll see a variable that will contain a path to the folder where you have your render frames. In my case, this is exactly this path. As you can see, on Windows you need to do double backslashes, but on Mac and Linux you don't. And on Mac and Linux, your path is going to look something like this if you have a temp folder in your home folder. All right, so make sure to change that if you want to follow along. We'll start off by getting a list of all the images in the folder that we've provided. I'm going to go into Gen Videos from Images and write the code there. All right, so I created a new variable that's going to be a list, and I went through all the files in this path that we're passing in. So remember, we're calling this function right here, right? We're passing in this path, goes into here, and we're just listing all the paths, all the files in this path. And I'm double checking and making sure that we only want PNGs in this particular folder, right? This folder could have text files and other files, but we only care about PNGs in particular. And then we're adding to this list, appending to this list the file name if it is a PNG, right? And then we just sort and make sure that all the frames are in order, right? We don't want frames appearing in not their order, right? And then finally, I'm doing a pretty print right here. This is like a regular print, but it'll just nicely format our list when I run it. I'm just going to run this. And to see the results on Windows, it's pretty straightforward. You go into Window and then toggle System Console, and you will see this list of all the images that were in that particular folder. on Mac and Linux, I have a separate video for you to turn on this system console. But if you don't want to do that now, you could quickly just import OS right here into the interactive Python console, right? And then set your path, right? Again, all in the interactive Python console, and then just run this, right? Of course, this is gonna print everything. It's not gonna do the if statement, but you can kind of get the picture of like what this particular part of code is doing. Let's keep our code organized and move all this code into a separate function so we can reference it later. I'm gonna go up here and add a new function. All right, I'm gonna just hit Control X to cut, and then Control V to paste that in. Fix the indentation here, and return the list that we created. One thing to note that I'm gonna, instead of just hard coding the image extension right here, I'm just gonna be passing that in and providing that as a parameter to the function. So later you could reuse this code in your own scripts, maybe to find other image files in a particular folder. I'm just gonna copy that. Since this particular argument has a default value of PNG, I don't really have to provide it. All right, so now we're just doing everything that we did before, but only through a function call. Now let's start filling out our output parameters. For example, the resolution of the render and the number of frames that we're going to be importing. I'm going to go under here in the gen video from images and start filling that out. All right, so after getting all of our images right here, we're going to get the length of this list and put it into a variable called frame count. And to make things more convenient, instead of like writing a ton of text like BPY context scene, I'm just going to reference it through the scene variable, right? We can do the same here, just write this all this code right here, right? But I just want to save us some time and just write this. And we're just going to simply set the last frame of the scene to the number of frames that we just counted. Next, let's get the resolution of the frames that we'll be importing. Okay, so the code here, I'm creating a new path. Since the list contains only names of the frames, right? We need to provide a full path to be able to get Blender to load this image. So this is the full path to the image. Next, we will, actually, you know what, I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna copy this. And just going to paste it in here and then just replace it with one of these images right here. Yeah, see, it provides you the full path. Right, next we get that full path and ask Blender to load this particular image, right? We get that image and we get the size, the width, and height. That allows us to set the output render resolution on the X and Y. So let's just run this. You can see right here it updated the resolution. Actually, let me change that again and let's run it again so you can see. So remember, I just updated this right here, and then let's run the script again, and it sets to the resolution that my frames are at. Let me extract getting the dimensions of the image into a separate function. It's going to go above the gen video from images. All right, and I'm just going to copy this. And I'll return the size right here. I'm just gonna do that. See, now we're just calling into this function, and it's one line. Just makes it a bit more readable. Let's run it and make sure that it still works. Yes, it does. Okay, next let's set the video format, and we're just gonna set it by hand and copy the code. So let's go here. I'm gonna make sure that this is FFmpeg, then encoding MPEG-4, and then the output quality, let's go with lossless. All right, so let's go down here, just select all this and paste it in here. Again, I can replace this part with just a reference to the scene because that's the same thing. And I also want to set the yes, and the FPS we're just going to take right here, we're passing it in. Right, remember to set that to the correct FPS that you've rendered your frames with. And let's clean this up. All right, let's just change it to something else and then run the script. And as you can see, yeah, it updated the parameters. And finally, let's set the file name of the video that we're going to be outputting. All right, so I'm using date and time to get the current time, and formatting the current time in hours, minutes, seconds. That's going to be like a string text. And then I'm creating a new path right here that's going to be in the same folder where our images are, and setting the name of the file to like some anim, and then time, and then MP4. Finally, I'm making sure that that is going to be the file path that's used for our output. Let's let's look at the output right here. So this is going to update after I run the script. So let's run it. And you can see that it updated to that file. All right, let's make our code more readable and hide all this into a separate function. Just going to go up here. And I'll paste all the code right here, all the setup code. I'm going to put that, paste it, and then let's call it right here. Run that. All right, everything works as it did before. All right, now let's start importing our images into the sequence editor. I'm going to hover over the sequence editor and hit Shift A, and then import this image sequence. Let's go into the folder that has your frames and import one of these images. Now in the info panel, we're going to get some code that will help us import this. So let's just copy that. And I'm going to remove the things that we don't need. All right, I'm going to So right here, the files has a list of dictionaries, and this is just the same as this right here, right? Because it has the two similar keys. I can show you in the interactive Python console down here. If I paste in this, it will turn into this right here. So as you can see, it just simplifies it. Not sure why the Blender code generates that. So here we have the path. We could simply replace this with this, and notice that it has a separator at the very end. This is very important. I didn't realize this before. I had a really nasty bug and I couldn't figure it out, and it actually was I needed to add this at the very end to make this work. So we'll fix that. All right, let's run this. And we get an error. If we look into the console, you could see there's an error, and the error is it's the incorrect context. So what does that mean? That means that when Blender's running some script, it needs to get a context of where it's going to be executing. For example, right here in this text editor, this is the editor area, the console is the console area, and the sequence is the sequence editor, right? And we need to provide the sequence editor. I'm going to show you how this looks in just a minute. All right, let me comment this out right here by hitting Control /. So let's run this code right here. I'm printing out the current area type, and we need to specify this to make this import work. So right here, it's telling me that the area is the text editor. If we paste this into the console, it's going to give me the console. And this in particular, the sequence editor is going to be the sequence editor. And we need to first find that and then provide this to this call. I'll go up here and create a new function that will allow us to find the sequence editor area. So this function goes through all the areas currently on screen, and then tries to check whether one of them is the sequence editor. So very important for this code to work is you should have the sequence editor as one of your open areas, right? If you don't have it, this won't return anything. It will return none, meaning nothing. I'm going to uncomment this by hitting Control /, and then providing and passing in this as the first argument. Right, I'm going to remove this image right here, and let's also create a list of the files that we want to import. Let's replace this as the file here, files list, and save it and run it. All right, I think we have imported the images. There's one gotcha here is that if you run this again, it will actually import two of these sequences. And we don't want that. We always want to start with a clean slate. Let's create a function that's going to clean the sequencer before we add anything to it. All right, so yeah, we pass in the sequence context, we select everything, right? And then we hit delete, basically. Let's call that. Let's run this code. Oops. Oh yeah, I should have set that. Let's run it again. And as you can see, it removed that extra sequence. If you learned something new today or just enjoying this video, make sure to hit the like button. At this point, we can just go in and hit render and then render animation. But we can make Python hit that button for us. So let's do that. All right, let's run the script. And if you go into your folder with your renders, you could see this particular render that you generated. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this.